Tropical Storm Henri is making landfall in New England. Good Sunday morning, I'm Mike Naso with the latest on Henri. You can see this beautiful visible satellite imagery. The waters got cooler and the system did weaken from a hurricane. Nevertheless, there's very little difference between 60, 65 miles an hour and 70, 75 miles an hour. You're still going to have very heavy rainfall and high water rises and very gusty winds. You can see the center is near Block Island, Rhode Island, and it looks to be making landfall in either extreme western Rhode Island or extreme eastern Connecticut, somewhere right in that area. We'll talk about that as the system plows into New England. Now here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Henri. Tropical Storm Henri was at 41.1 north, 71.6 west, winds of 60 with higher gusts, moving north-northwest at 12. We still see that northwest component, and that's why it could actually technically make landfall where the center of the center crosses the coast in Connecticut. So even though the impacts are widespread, you can see tropical storm force winds occurring all the way from Long Island back to Cape Cod. We have had reports of gusts up to 65 miles per hour on Block Island, 69 miles per hour, getting close to hurricane force at Point Judith, Rhode Island. Buzzards Bay, you guys are at like 57, 60 mile per hour gusts. Westport up to 62. And those are just some of the wind readings coming in. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Here's the radar imagery, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I hate slow radars. There you go. You can see the center, what's left of it, it's not very well defined anymore, is right over or near Block Island here, headed in the general direction of the border of Rhode Island and Connecticut, areas like Westerly, Rhode Island, and then on over towards areas there of Stonington, right on the border of Connecticut and Rhode Island, looks to be the official area of landfall, but we are getting impacts widespread. You can see this rainfall shield extends all the way back down into New York and New Jersey. As a matter of fact, you see this persistent feeder band, if you want to call it that, not really a feeder band, more just an interaction with that trough and the hurricane, or the tropical storm now, has created persistent heavy rainfall right into the area there of Edison, New Jersey, Manhattan, New York City, Brooklyn, all of Long Island here getting in on the rain, but even further south, and we have had some ridiculous amounts of rainfall. You can see that even better on this radar view. There's the center near Block Island. A lot of rainfall on the western side of this system, and that is just drenching Connecticut and New York. In fact, the flash flood warning now in effect for areas there of New London and North Stonington. Stonington and Westerly right here near the border is where it should make landfall. And again, anywhere back over towards Fenwick, you guys have the threat of severe flash flooding. Look at this rainfall rate. This might have to be updated. This is over the next 1 to 3 days, anywhere from 4 to 10 inches. But let me tell you, New York City broke a record. The New York City National Weather Service office said that they had the wettest day since 2014, and last night, 1.94 inches of rain fell from 10 to 11 in Central Park, and that was the wettest hour on record for New York City. And so that's an indication that we're going to have very, very heavy rain. You could see this over the next 24 hours. Look at these rain rates over New York, Connecticut, areas of Rhode Island and Massachusetts, even Jersey getting in on the action with those persistent rain bands over the same area. The water rises are occurring. We did have a water rise of up over 1 foot so far. 1 foot of water in Newport, Rhode Island. That's going to go up 2 to 4 feet from Long Island Sound all the way over to Narragansett Bay, Buzzards Bay, Nantucket Sound. Cape Cod up to the Merrimack River, where you have the onshore flow. You guys could have 1 to 2 feet of water rises. Again, it could have been a lot worse. If Henri had not been sheared, it could have been a strong hurricane, and even though it would have been weakening, it could have been a much stronger system right now than it is. Here's the weather stations. You could see various weather stations in the path of Henri. The National Weather Service, NOAA, doing a good job there. We could see some of the wind gusts here, 35, 41, 42 miles an hour, so definitely tropical storm force. Look at the water temperatures, though, 71, 66, 80. These are kind of low. This is why the system's not as strong as it was. The waters get very cool in New England, cold water. Nevertheless, very gusty winds right now, and that's why we're going to watch this as the system continues to plow right into this area here. This is where it was at 11. It's probably moved past that over Block Island Sound. So again, landfall will occur very near the border. This is Stonington, Connecticut, Westerly, Rhode Island, right in this area, although I do think technically we have landfall in Block Island, and that would be in Rhode Island. Nevertheless, areas that don't get hit that often are getting hit right now with a powerful tropical storm, and again, it's bringing a lot of severe weather, a lot of heavy rainfall, and a lot of gusty winds to the coastline. There you could see it coming ashore very shortly over areas of Connecticut and Rhode Island. Everybody needs to hunker down and be prepared for the possibility of more power outages. You could see the map of the country looking at where there are outages there in Connecticut and Rhode Island. California always has outages. But there's Rhode Island, and look at this. Down here in Washington County, right on the coast, we already have over 42,000 people without power, and then over in Newport, you got over 11,000 people. Again, as I mentioned, if you happen to see this update, even if you don't have power and you see this update on your phone, don't use a generator inside your house. A lot of people do that, and it is very, very dangerous. You have carbon monoxide poisoning, and a lot of people die that way. It's a very bad way to go. Connecticut, you guys got outages too here in New London County, over 4,700. Up towards Windham, you got 2,400. Again, you're going to see more and more of this because even though it's not a hurricane, you're still getting that gusty winds and that onshore flow, and that's what's causing all our problems right now. In the final analysis, Tropical Storm Henri making landfall in areas of Rhode Island and Connecticut. Definitely a big slamming there. We're going to have a lot more flooding, a lot more power outages, a lot of gusty winds and water rises. Not a day to be outside, certainly not a day to be by the water, as we continue to see areas from Long Island all the way to Cape Cod get hammered by Henri. So I'm Mike Naso from our IPR 365 Tropical Update page on YouTube. Stay tuned for continuous coverage of the tropics, especially as Henri continues to flood and rain like mad over New England. I'm Mike Naso, and I will talk to you guys next time.